Good evening. We're going to call to order the school board meeting of January 11th, 2016. Sarah, would you please call the roll?
Hallett.
Here.
McKeon.
Here.
Haas.
Here.
Romansky.
Here.
Swanson.
Good evening.
Tucker.
Here.
And Bowerman.
Yes, ma'am. So tonight's both a fun night and somewhat of a mundane night. We have a lot of organizational activities to take care of, but before we do that, we're actually going to swear in both a newly elected board member and the re-elected board member, so we're all official. I think we're going to start that, Sarah, with Director Haas.
We're going to stand right over this way. So I am going to issue your oath, and if you could just repeat after me, raise your hand. Are we with shots? Are we good? And so just repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States. That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
I will support the Constitution of the United States,
The Constitution of the State of Minnesota.
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
And faithfully discharge the duties of my office
and faithfully discharge the duties of my office
according to law
according to law,
and the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
and answering so help me God.
and answering so help me God.
Congratulations. Yes, please. And we'll do family
Photo?
For those of you, we'll just head over this direction, Tony, and come on up.
That would be all of you.
Big family photo.
Big family photo.
Let's go.
He wants for the wall. That's it. That kid, he wants his picture taken.
Sorry, Devin, you have to be part of it.
That does look good.
Do you guys want to come in front of the flag? Would it be easier in the corner?
Yeah. Yeah. Good.
There we go. We'll get there. Nice, Ed.
Let's have you,
Nice.
All right.
Yay, that's good.
All right, here we go.
Great.
All right.
Let me get one for Twitter.
Okay.
Oh,
You're being
Dave.
All right, ready? Very nice.
Mr. Galvin? And for you, if you raise your right hand and then repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
and faithfully discharge the duties of my office
and faithfully discharge the duties of my office
according to law
according to law
and the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability
and understanding so help me God.
and understanding so help me God.
Congratulations.
That's right.
Mrs. Tucker? Did we cry last time? I think we did. I feel like
I was
everybody's
doing
doing
it, so I was probably very emotional.
Right hand, please. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United
the
States,
Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
and faithfully discharge the duties of my office. And faithfully
discharge the duties of my office
according to law
according to law
and the best of my ability
and the best of my ability
and understanding, so help me God.
and understanding. So help me God.
Congratulations.
swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
and faithfully discharge the duties of my office
and faithfully discharge the duties of my office
according to law
according to law
and the best of my ability
and the best of my ability
and understanding, so help me God.
and understanding, so help me God.
Congratulations.
Get it up.
Can it just be a bird?
Very nice. Perfect. Great.
Let the record show I do have family that don't like me. That's right. Take a picture with everyone. All right, so now comes the more or less mundane part. You are free and welcome to stay. We've got a whole series of formalities that we need to go through every year. The first thing we're going to start with is we need to none taken.
You're good.
The first item of action that we will take is one of some significance. We need to elect our officers for the coming year. So at this point, I will accept currently as the chair nominations for the office first of chair, and then we'll proceed to the election in that order. Are there nominations for the office of chair? Mary?
I nominate Ricky Barman.
Okay. Are there other nominations?
I would like to nominate the existing officers to retain their 2015 seats for 2016. I would like to nominate Reggie Barman as chair, Scott Swanson as vice chair, Angela Tucker as clerk, and Matt McKeon as treasurer.
Mary, is that okay with your
Yeah.
original nomination?
Or I can take Reggie
Well, let me ask Mary. Mary, will you remove your nomination to go with just the slate? Okay. Are there other nominations? Are there other nominations? Are there other nominations? All right, I will take a motion to close the nominations.
I will call.
Thank you. Is there a second? Second. Thank you. So with that, we have a nomination for a slate of officers. Bowerman as chair, Swanson as vice chair, Tucker as clerk, McKeon as treasurer. All those in favor of the offices as noted, signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes unanimously. We have our slate. Thank you very much. All right, we'll move on to item 1.4, compensation. We must adopt a resolution setting the compensation for the board. It's currently $4,500 with an additional $500 per year for the chair and vice chair. At this point, I will accept a motion to approve compensation for 2016 as presented. We have a second? Any discussion on this item? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes unanimously. We'll move on to item 1.5. We have to designate a number of different things, the official depository and additional depositories. Voyager Bank is currently the primary depository for the bank.
Excuse me, that should be Anchor Bank? I thought
Sorry?
that was Anchor Bank.
We'll correct that, thank you.
They changed their name last summer.
Anchor Bank is the current primary depository of the district. We will keep all of our funds in the official depository. However, we will invest monies throughout a number of institutions, and additional include Wells Fargo, U.S. Bank Minneapolis, U.S. Bank St. Paul, Minneapolis School District Liquid Asset Fund Plus, BMO Harris Bank, Bremer Bank, Minnesota Trust, PMA, Associated Bank for OPEB, and Anchor Bank, which is, I guess, who we are now. So, with that, I would look for a motion to approve the designation of official depository and additional depositories. As amended with Anchor, yes.
So moved.
Second? Second. Thank you. Any discussion on that item? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. We move on to item 1.6, designation of official newspaper. The school board must designate an official newspaper. The Shakopee Valley News is our official newspaper and the only local publication that meets the legal requirements. So at this point, I would seek a motion to accept and approve the designation of Shakopee Valley News as the official newspaper of the district?
So moved.
Thank you, Mary. Second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? We have our papers. Thank you. Item 1.7. This is informationally, but for the purposes of the board and for anyone who's watching who would care to know, we have appointments to special assignments and standing committees of the board. That has been shared in preliminary fashion with the board. We can make that available to anyone who wants to see it. It's basically a grid that looks like this. We have a couple of ancillary committees that we're looking to fill. We're going to talk about that at another time, but basically we have this assignment. It doesn't require any action other than just recognition that these are the committee assignments that we will have this year. Okay? All right, moving on. Item 1.8. The district currently uses more than one firm for its legal business depending upon the type of expertise needed. So the recommended action here is to authorize the superintendent and or his designee to secure legal advice as needed. Do we have a motion for that?
So moved.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Item 1.9, using a facsimile signature. The following resolution needs to be adopted so we can use check writing software. The item is that the school district will use a check signing software and facsimile signatures for the chair, clerk, and treasurer to sign all checks issued by the school district except checks that are written on activity accounts. The activity account checks will be signed by the director of finance or the director of HR after all signatures are obtained on the supporting documentation. Do I have a motion for that?
Moved.
Second, thank you. Any discussion?
Please approve this.
No.
All,
The three of us have to sign it at home, or you have to sign it at home?
so we're moving the item as read without any comment. So all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Item 1.10, investment of funds. We need to allow the Director of Finance to invest surplus cash prior to the time that approval is received from the school board to expend those, make expenditures from those funds. The irregularity with which the school district receives its payments creates an investment opportunity at certain times. It is impossible to invest this cash in a timely way if pre-approval is required. So the action we're seeking is to give the Director of Finance or his designee the authority to invest surplus funds without prior approval of the school board, but within the limitations set by the law, and to complete wire transfers with notification to the board by the next meeting as needed. We have a motion to approve that.
So moved.
Is there a second? Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. We're getting close, folks. Item 1.11, prepayment of bills. There are times when prompt payment of bills allows us to receive a discount. It's a good thing. In some instances, we cannot take advantage of these discounts if we must wait for formal approval. So the school board, 720, grants the business manager or his designee the authority to pay bills prior to approval of those bills, so that they may take advantage of the discounts offered for prompt payment. May I have a motion to approve that prompt payment action? Thank you, Angela. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mary. All those, any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. Item 1.12, approval of P-card users. The following list, which was in the materials provided to the board, so you've had that to look at. For school district purchasing card users and spending limits is needing of approval. I need a motion to accept that list as presented.
Moved. Second.
Thank you, second. Any discussion? Great. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. Item 1.13, appointment of district physicians. There are times when the district has need of physician services. The recommendation from the district is to appoint the physicians of Shakopee Park Nicollet Medical Center as the school district physicians for the 16 calendar year. Do I have such a motion?
So moved.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Discussion? Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. Moving on. Item 1.14, the board meeting schedule for fiscal year 2016. That also was made available to the board members. Trusting you had time to look at that. We can make that available to anyone else who would like to see it. What we're asking to do now is to approve these times, these dates for 2016. Do I have such a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? Thank you, Mary. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. We have our schedule for 2016. Item 1.15, LEA designation for this year. Annual LEA, which is Local Education Agency designation, is made to ensure that the maintenance of compliance with, to ensure we comply with the appropriate federal statutes and regulations and state procedures that are currently in effect. The designee will also act responsibly in all matters related to its administration. The action that's being recommended is to designate the superintendent as the LEA representative for 2016. Do I have that motion? Thank you. I'll take Tony as a second. Second. Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. Item 1.16, policy. The district's policies have to be recognized in their present form each year. The district has engaged MSBA for a full policy manual review. You know that we're in the process of doing that. We need to accept those. I need a motion to approve the policies as we currently have them for continuation in 2016. Thank you. Second.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. And finally, we are going to be having a board meeting that allows us to have a board meeting on Columbus Day. We can take action to approve that. So I'm looking for a motion to approve the board meeting on Columbus Day 2016. Second. Tony, second. Matt, thank you. Discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. Now we're done with the tedium part. Any questions from the board? Thank you for your patience. All right, let's get to the good stuff. Do we have any visitors to the board meeting tonight who would seek to be recognized to speak to the board? Okay. Seeing none, we have a couple of things that didn't make the agenda, but we want to cover those because they're always good. As we like to do, we have some good news to present about the district. I'll read these quickly. First one is Professor, that's University of Minnesota talk. That would be Principal Schleif reported that the Jackson EL team has been recognized by the MDE, the Minnesota Department of Education, as one of the top performing EL programs in the state. They will be presenting at a breakout session at the Minnesota Elementary Principals Winter Institute in February. So congratulations to them, that's outstanding. Item number 2, Principal Turry reported that 6 Pearson students, along with media specialist Natalie Weatherman, presented at a TIES conference in Minneapolis. Their session focused on our Saber Tech Squad, their role and how we run our morning announcements, and it was a great experience, especially for the students, so congratulations to them. Item number 4, Principal Leonard reported that SunPath had a successful food drive before winter break that was organized by the Student Council. Over 3,000 items were donated to the CAP agency and Animal Rescue. That's outstanding. Way to go, kids. That's great. Item number 4, Community Education Director Bob Greeley reported that since the start of the school year, 652 students and community members have volunteered close to 6,000 service hours. These figures include volunteers at all the schools in the district with the exception of CFC and the West Junior High, where we do not use an electronic signing system, so we actually have more than the 6,000 hours. Again, absolutely phenomenal. So good stuff continues to happen in the district. And then another item that is not on the agenda, but we're going to take a moment to do. One of the best things about being on the school board, allow me to editorialize for a minute, but one of the best things about being on the school board is getting to recognize the great things that happen in Shakopee, like the kinds I just ticked off. As might be team accomplishments in tournaments, it might be performing art performances, it could be student accomplishments, and sometimes it's our staff and our administration who keep things moving and teach our kids and do all the great things that happen every day. So tonight, the Shakopee School Board is beginning what we believe and we hope to be an annual tradition. We're going to recognize outstanding leadership each year in our district. This is the first time. This will be the inaugural award. So when I think of this person, and I'm going to talk about this person to not give it away as long as I possibly can. When I was preparing for this, when I think of this person, the kind of words come to mind. And they could describe a lot of people in our district, to be very honest, but they certainly are apropos to this individual. Words like excellence, dedication, experience, knowledge, compassion, things like that. When I talked to this person's boss, they said about this person, I am amazed at the care and compassion that this person shares with all employees all employees, period. This person treats people like they are part of their own family. This individual, now I'm starting to get a little close. I don't know how much I can hold this back. This individual, this may reveal it, showed exemplary, I would say, and proactive leadership in helping to prep, to guide, and to ultimately complete the contract nomination process, assisting the board, helping with nominations. I can say from personal experience, answering questions of board members, maybe multiple questions from board members. Not one time, but multiple times. This person also led the changeover to a self-health insurance program for the district. This person has helped lead the meshing, if you will, of our HR and our finance teams for increased effectiveness. So it gives me great pleasure. It's my honor to recognize Scott Hare as the recipient, the inaugural recipient, no less, of the Shakopee Public Schools Leadership Award for 2015. Scott, come on down. Come on over here. Or someplace over here, because they want to get a picture. So let's get the flag in the background. Congratulations. Thank you. Outstanding. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, here you go. Keep fingerprints all over.
Reese's cookies are just
All right. That's fun. That's good stuff. Congratulations, Scott, for all you do on our behalf, kids' behalf, the district's behalf. Very
Thank
well
you.
deserved. All right, back to the business at hand. Let's move on to consideration of the agenda as presented. I think we have, do we have any additions to the agenda? Well, we kind of added a couple to the agenda, but anything else, Rob?
We have in front of you, you have 1.4.1 personnel items addendum, and it's as presented in front of you.
Okay. Do I have a motion to accept the agenda presented along with these additions?
So,
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion on the agenda? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? We have our agenda. Let's move on to consent, which we've modified here. Do I have a motion to accept consent? Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Mary, is there any discussion on consent? Hearing none, I'm looking for a motion to approve consent as presented or amended. We have it. I think I've got that. Yes? I just want to make sure. All those in favor of accepting consent as amended, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, we have our consent. All right, in terms of order, Rod, you want to just stick to order? as
Yeah, I
is?
don't think there's any particular reason
Okay.
to move anything up.
We will move to item number 6.1, old business, and this is looking into the 2015-16 course offerings. I think you're stepping in.
Yeah, I'm going to step in for Nancy this evening. You've all had the opportunity to have a first reading, and you've had the opportunity also to ask any questions you might have. But for those at home, we made significant changes to our curriculum and our course offerings, and I think for our parents out there, you're going to be receiving some registration guides and more information coming to you in the next few weeks. And it's the teaching and learning crew is just a phenomenal crew. They've gone above and beyond, and at our last board learning session or regular meeting, I can't remember if we had them on camera or not. We might have, so it probably was a regular meeting. We met Nancy's team, and every one of them are top notch. Very, very proud of the work they've done. With that, though, it's a very short agenda item, and I would ask for approval of the course offerings as presented.
I'll make that.
Wait a second.
second.
Somebody's got it. Discussion on the course guides that we are being asked to approve for secondary and elementary course offerings. Comments?
I would just say a Herculean effort, and we're truly in uncharted territory here, and Nancy's team and everybody did a fantastic job. I know it wasn't just her team, but this is pushing us into the future very well.
Well said. Other comments? I know we have the benefit, I guess, of seeing this ahead of other people, but it's really pretty exciting to look through the variety, the kinds of exciting things the kids are gonna have to choose from. You choose. In many cases, not always, but choose. And it's a lot of fun. And I know in speaking with my kids over the break, I mentioned a few things that are happening in Shakopee. I'm like, wow, why didn't that happen when I was here? That's kind of a universal feeling, so I think that bodes well for our kids that are currently in the district. All right. Any other discussion? Excuse me. All those in favor of accepting the course offerings and guides as proposed or as offered, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. We have our guides. Thank you. You bet. We'll move on to item 8.1. I think, Rod, you're going to talk about paraprofessional recognition.
Yeah, we sent out today actually to our staff a thank you and a recognition. And what I'm asking the board tonight is what the governor did as well, and that is January 11th through the 15th. It's a certificate of commendation from the governor, and it's basically recognizing the 20,000 paraprofessionals working in Minnesota schools. And you know, as we know, a lot of our paraprofessionals work with the students that we have that can be the most challenging at times. And so having a mother that was a paraprofessional, they are really in the boots on the ground, as we like to call it, every single day, making sure that the best teaching and learning happens for each and every student. And so I'm asking that the board recognize our paraprofessionals during this week from January 11th through the 15th.
Absolutely. Any comments from the board? We have a motion. Do we need to take a formal motion on that, or?
You know, we don't have to. I think it just probably would add to the recognition.
Sure. Puts our stamp of approval. Thank you, Matt. Do we have a second? Any additional discussion on this?
Just echo what Rod said, heartfelt thanks to people who day in and day out make our schools better.
Absolutely. All right, those in favor of the motion to recognize and thank all of the school district's paraprofessional staff as discussed by Superintendent Thompson, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes unanimously. I'll answer the question. Thank you very much to each one of those folks who do work each day. Thank you. All right, let's move on to item number 8.2. I think we're going to have Julie come forward and talk about this. This is a special education staffing item. Rod, do you want to tee it up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, or feel free if you
Well,
want.
I'll take a stab at this. So just to kind of tee this up, this is an item, when we add staff, a lot of times it's covered in consent because it's replacing a position, sometimes it's adding a position, but frequently it's a consent item. I thought this was a good opportunity based upon my own learning, and this is what Julie's going to educate us about. This is a great example of there are times when we have to add staff, not just because it's the right thing to do for our kids, but there are statutory, legal reasons for us to do so. And I think it's important for the public to understand that this is part of running a school district, and it's going to be nice to hear Julie tell us about that. So please, if you would, just take a moment to explain what we're doing.
Yeah, I won't take too much of your time unless you've got questions for me. What I just passed around was something that I put together with, well, actually Heidi Nishler put this together at my request. So, because the staff member we're looking to ask for would be a person that would be shared between Sunpath Elementary and Eagle Creek Elementary due to an increase in caseload size there at both of those schools. And what you have in front of you at the first sheet just really talks about our average caseload. And what we look at, we don't have a set limit for a caseload across our district, and most don't. But we look at elementary, especially in our resource teachers, to try and stay between that 12 and 14 student ratio. And then we also take into consideration the minutes of service each case manager is providing to the students that they work with. What you'll see in the top is where we currently are at, and that Eagle Creek and Sunpath are already at past that 14. If you go down to the very last box, that shows what the projected caseload will be based on students who have already gone through evaluation, have met state criteria as a student with a disability, and they're just waiting for those results meeting the parent commission or to talk about what their IEPs might look like. And what you see on that bottom box will happen by February of this year. So both be at 15 and 15.5 by February. Looking forward to the end of the year because we still have students in evaluation. Our elementary schools especially have what we call a high sit rate, meaning most of the kids who go through evaluation because they've gone through our intervention process. There's a very high chance, about 98%, that they will qualify for some type of a service. So by the end of the school year, we're really looking at it being 16 to 17 students on those caseloads in Sunhappy Creek. Just for a little bit of background on what we've seen just since holiday break, we had 8 students who were in the district with IEPs, 2 of them today. There are ones that Rod doesn't even know about yet. So when you talk, they are at East Junior High. I don't even know yet what level of service they have. We only know they came with an IEP. We haven't seen the documents yet. But 6 of those students that came in since Christmas break, and we didn't know they were coming over break and were able to get the staff prepared, are setting 3 kids, which means our center-based, self-contained students. 2 at Sweeney, 2 at Red Oak, 1 at Pearson, and 1 at Jackson. So because of that, where I'm going with this is we really looked at all of our elementary schools to see if some of the schools have a lower cases right now. We could move staff around a little bit. And as you can see by the bottom box, so all these between that 12 and 14, student ratio by the 16th or by the 216 of this year, and because of the students that just moved in, it didn't make sense for us to bring any teachers around because we're spreading well now across all the buildings. So that's where we're at as far as caseload. The next sheet really just shows how we should fund the position through the remainder of this year and into next year. If you'd like me to speak more on that, I can.
I think you just hit the highlight in terms of the impact on lack of revenue in general fund.
On the general fund, I believe we could go for this year and through next year without stating the general fund. Brenda, who is our new special ed accountant, we pointed out to him, so I appreciate that position, was able to talk to people at the state, and we do have a new funding formula this year, which is very complicated. We will receive 1 of 3 different formulas. What the state does is whichever one gives us the least amount, that's what we take. What we found out is 55% of the districts across the state, the least amount is what our old formula used to be. So she was able to find out we would be able to fund that about 60% out of federal funds. The rest of it, what we can do is we have third-party billing money that we can recoup from time that we service students. And what we can do is pay for benefits and other special education teachers using that so that hit to the general fund would be flat.
Questions for Julie, Mary?
Yes, Julie. All the cards are going to be doing what? Will they work with setting 1, 2, and 3, or just setting certain settings?
That's a good question, Mary, and what we talked about, the two supervisors that I have under me, Heidi Nishler and Megan Miller, are the ones that work within these schools. So what they would do is they would sit down with both schools, find out when it makes sense for that teacher to be, say, morning at Sunpath, afternoon at Eagle Creek, and then they would work with those case managers to make sure that most likely the new person would take kids that were students who didn't need as much service, because your case manager say is at Eagle Creek and you've got a student at Sunpath who really desperately needs something, or a crisis situation comes up and their case manager's not there, it's not as effective for the student. So they would take over some of those caseloads that would take some of the pressure off of the case managers who are in the building the whole day. So it could be mostly setting 1 and 2. I don't foresee them working with setting 3 right now. I can walk you through the process they get to before we get to the point of asking for the person if you'd like as well. But
I think our goal, as good as that sounds, I really think when Reggie and I were talking, as we all look at tight budgets and so forth, you know, certainly one thing we didn't want to do is call out special needs students as needing the extra staff, and therefore, you know, it seems like it's a budget negative, which anytime we add staff, it of course takes from the budget. But we wanted to call out 2 particular things. One is there's only a certain number of actions we can take that don't actually touch the general fund. And in this case, congratulations to you and your team for figuring that out. That was one of the stipulations on this hire, was that you would be able to do that. I don't know that we can go to the well too many times though. So what we have to be able to do is, in the unpredictable world, both of the funding formula for special ed and taking a look at our general fund, we have to just make sure that we're planful on the conservative side as we go forward, but understand that if all of a sudden you have 6, 8 kids, level 3 settings and so forth, it is what it is. So we have to be able to take care of it, whether it's a full-time paraprofessional or other types of teachers that we have to bring in. It is part of our responsibility. And so we have the fiscal conservative approach that we want to take, and at the same time we have to make sure we're meeting the needs of all students. So I think that bringing it up and calling attention to it in this case was important for people who might not see this stuff every day like we do.
It's all part of the calculus of running a school district, meeting the needs of our kids, balancing a budget or doing it within budget. And as Rod said, I commend you guys for being creative on the funding side. But we want to do what's right for kids. And what's right for kids in this instance, I believe, and let alone the fact we really kind of have to in this instance, but it's the right thing to do, is to add these both half positions to provide kids with the care they need. Any other discussion? All right, so I'm looking for a motion to approve the shared 1.0 FTE special education position for the remainder of the year as presented. Thank you, Angela. Is there a second? Thank you, Mary. Any additional discussion? All right, all those in favor of approving this position, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. Thank you, Ms. Julie.
I thank you very much, and to our teachers and our students. And I thank my team who put this together to the heart.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. All right, we're about at the end of this particular meeting. Do we have any committee reports of note from the board?
I'll just mention that
Yes.
I attended the city council meeting last Tuesday. We now have a new mayor, Bill Martin, sworn in, along with Jay Wood and Grant, yes. And I believe Kathy Melko will be our new liaison. So, they formally take action on that next time.
Other reports? Okay. Any other informational items, Dr. Thompson?
Sure. Point on it, point out the retreat.
Okay, skip my mind. So the board has in front of it the agenda for our board retreat, which will occur next Monday. It's an all-day affair for us, just can't get enough of this. Taking place off-site, it'll be at Turtles to get us in a group setting. So you've got the agenda in front of you. That is how we will proceed next Monday. If there's any questions on that, we can field those. Otherwise, we will proceed as we have by tradition and by practice. All right. Anything else? Back music.
You know, just wanted to mention our CAPS program that's been up and running right now. Kids are starting that transition, starting to have kids interview for internships. So a lot of the people in the community have stepped forward and offered up opportunity for kids to work in their businesses. So that's just, we just started placing some of them last week in their first internship that they've gotten the internship. They won't start until February, the first week of the semester. Yes, ma'am.
What type of internships are they?
Oh, a little bit of everything. We've got people in the communication, in the digital design students we have working at City Hall, working with their communications department. We have them down at the Chamber of Commerce. We have kids working at Shutterfly, which is our host, with Imagine Printing. With the kids in the medical careers, kids working at St. Francis. We'll have kids with veterinary clinic ones. We have some at dental offices. So a little bit of everything. Some of our school nurses have asked to be sites. So even today, I just had a call from some kind
Any other informational items from cabinet? Scott, anything?
Not at this time. I'm just still feeling pretty good back here.
Julie?
I just congratulate Mr. Hare over here, and nothing from the world of special ed right now, but I congratulate Tony Poss on his wedding over, gosh, a week ago, Tony?
Yeah.
He's a newlywed.
Mike?
Nope.
Dave?
I can't tell you what an honor it is to work with Scott here. Just like to echo what you said. So,
This meeting is being recorded, right? So you can take this home and show the family. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You won't believe it. Right?
I'm not gonna try and follow that up.
Matt?
yeah, I'd just like to mention that my staff is working on a special edition newsletter. Just to kind of give everybody in the community an update on all the projects associated with the referendum. And we're hoping to get that emailed out late January. Prior to, hopefully host the House in early February.
I think we went, I think a whole meeting without even mentioning that project until just then. All right, quick round on the board. Matt, anything?
Just echoing what you said, congrats to Tony.
Thank you. Mary? Sean?
I'm good.
Scott?
Good.
Tony? Angela? All right, anything else? We have upcoming meetings. This week is a big week for school boards around the state. We have the MSBA meeting, which includes some phase 1 and phase 2 training for a few of our board members. We have the recognition lunch for board member Romansky for her, not nomination, she's been being inducted into the All-State School Board. So that's going to be fantastic. We'll lunch in her honor on Thursday. Conference continues. We have our board retreat, as I said, next Monday. Board learning session might have a business component, remains to be seen on the 25th. Board business meeting on February 8th, and board learning session on February 22nd. With that, I will look for a motion to adjourn. So moved. We have a second?
I second it.
There you go.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. We are adjourned.